Hello everyone and welcome to our Tech Tuesday tutorials number 141. Today we take a look at a free and unique take on trivia and review games called Blooket. Now I know it looks like Blooket, but it is pronounced Blooket, as on their website. So what is this thing? It's a gaming platform that can be used to help students practice and reinforce any kind of skills. It's similar to other review style platforms like Kahoot, GymKit, and Quizlet, to name a few. However, Blooket does have a few key differences, including a very robust free option. First, a disclaimer. I know that it's popular to hate on lower levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Lower level thinking skills just aren't as popular as higher order thinking skills, but there is a place for them. When speed and accuracy are critical, when you need to just know the factoids without Googling them, non-boring repetitive practice can help. This is why we do drills and sports and practice fundamental skills. These are the fundamental building blocks of knowledge that we need to have down pat in order so that we can work more efficiently in our subject. With that being said, when we learn things like our multiplication tables, we should make this rote learning as fun and engaging as possible to ensure maximum learning. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, so when you're ready to start, just go ahead and click sign up and it will prompt you to create a new account. You can even use a single sign-on option using Google Workspaces. Once you've logged in, you'll be taken to what they call the dashboard. Now at the very top, you'll see these icons: play, discover, dashboard where you're at right now, create, stats, market, Blooks, and settings, and of course log out. Your dashboard is kind of like your home, and it's where you get shunted to when you first log in. You'll see some options here for news, things that are happening with Blooket. You'll see my sets. These are things that you've created. The favorite section includes sets that you have favorited that you did not create, and we'll get to those in a second. And then homework are sets that you've assigned to students to be done asynchronously on their own time. And finally, history are the most recent things that you've used so that you can get back to them very quickly. So let's look at some sets that exist, and the fastest way to do that is to go to the Discover option. The Discover page lists some of the most popular sets, but there are many more that are available if you just do a basic search. So while this may seem like not many, I can go in here and search for something very specific like Shakespeare. And you'll see all sorts of Blookets that have been created by other people. Now, here's the important thing. A lot of these have been created by people and they haven't really been used or developed very well. You can tell by taking a look at how many times they've been played and also how many questions they have. So this one's been played only twice and it's got 3 questions, so it's kind of in development, but no one really did anything with it. Whereas this one has 25 questions and has over 2,700 plays. So this may be one that you may want to take a look at and not waste your time with the ones with the low numbers. You want sets with more questions than less, because these questions kind of get fired off to students in fairly rapid fashion, and you really want them to be able to go through more without hitting the same ones again and again. So once you find one that looks kind of interesting, you can then come in here and check it out a little bit more, and you can see the questions and the answers that they've provided. If you'd like, you can favorite it, and favoriting it will let you get back to this one very easily. So let's see what it looks like to create a game and have other people join. To do that, we're going to come in here and choose host. We're going to choose a game mode that's really simple, and it's showing all the different games, but we're going to choose one here that, again, is simple and is synchronous, and that's racing. This is about as simple as it gets. The first to the finish line wins. And whenever you choose any of these game modes, they tell you basically what they do. They tell you also what they help reinforce, speed and accuracy in this case. Whereas Tower of Doom might be strategy and accuracy. How many students can play at once, and then what they recommend in terms of number of players. Now, I'll go in here and host game. Some of these you'll notice it has assigned homework, or in the case of, I think, the cafe, it's homework or host, which means live or asynchronous. So in this one is a live game only. We'll go ahead and hit host. On this screen, you get to set a few options for your games. The first 2 are always available, and the other one depends on the game type you do. You have the option to allow late joining or use random names. Now let me say something about late joining. Basically, late joining means that they can join the game after it's already started. That may be good because some students may have discouragement if they join a minute late and they're already behind. So that can cause some problems if you allow it. Another thing that can happen is students can enter their own nickname whenever they log into the lobby before they join the game. Those nicknames do have some profanity filters on them, so they can't put in something very egregious, but they can get pretty creative and put some not safe for school names. You'll see in a minute that we can eliminate those before we start the game, so that's not too bad. But if you allow late joining, you do not get to vet those names before they join. So if you're going to allow late joining, I would encourage you to use random names. And in fact, using random names is not a bad idea. Random names means that the students get randomly assigned a name, and they can re-roll it up to 5 times, but the name is always safe. This kind of creates a sense of anonymity, but sometimes the students like to be known to the rest of the class, and this would eliminate that. Number of questions applies to this game itself. This is a racing game. This is how many questions they have to get right to get to the finish line. To make it nice and simple, I'm going to reduce this to about 7. But 30 is a good number for a normal game. And then I'm going to choose Host Now. So you'll see that I have an ID at the top there, and I can share this with my students. So I'm going to join with a student account here with the lavender background there, and I'll go over to blooket.com/play, whereupon I can choose to join a game or even to log in. If I'm a student, I can sign up and create a student account and log in, and it will track tokens for me to use to buy additional little avatars. These little things are called blooks. But I can always just join without logging in if I want to, and it just won't track any progress for me. Put in the ID as a student, and then it's going to ask me for a nickname. Now, because I set it to random, you'll see that this is generating a random name, and I can re-roll if I don't like that one. Okay, so I'll be in the lobby then, and I'm going to join with another account, another student. Okay, I come here, put in the ID, get a different nickname, and choose a different avatar face for that one. Now, as the teacher, I can see that there are 2 players waiting to play. We're in the lobby, and you see how I can cross these out. If I didn't want a certain student in there, and I allowed them to use their own nicknames, if there were any objectionable ones there, I could just nix them out just by clicking on them and removing them that way. When I'm ready, I start the game, and this is what I see on my end. Now, I'm going to split screen here so that the student display is on the right and the teacher's display is on the left. And so the students then have to answer as fast as they can. Now, I know Shakespeare's father worked as many things, but I think Glovemaker was one of them. I think it's Capulet. All right. And you can see that we're inching along. Now, if I were to access the other account, that would get the same kind of options here. And I can come in here and choose answers as well. And you can see that they progress. And I think they wrote 40. Okay. And after a certain number of right answers, in this one you get a power-up which allows you to punish another player. So you can freeze a player for 10 seconds or even force them to go back 1 space or things like that. Okay, and as we near the end of the race here, I will answer the question correctly, I think, and then the race will be done. And I'll have the option to play again, but it'll show off to the students who won. It'll ask me to add an account so that I can log all this, or I can just say no. As a teacher, it's going to ask if we want to play again with the same settings or not, and I'll say no, and you can see what who won first place and second place and stuff like that. I can also click and view the report as a teacher, and it gives me basic numbers for the game itself. 80% of the answers given were correct. How many players, who had the leaderboard, how many incorrect and correct answers they had, stuff like that. Now you can upgrade and get detailed game reports per question level and so on, and a few other things like that, but you don't really need it unless you're going to use this a lot. That's a basic game. The game types are really, really different, and it is important to know that they're kind of all over the place in terms of strategy and speed and so on. I did want to mention how to post homework. So when you come in here, if you choose to host with a set, either that one, let's say multiplication facts or something, you can choose to host again. You go to your game type. So a couple of these games do have homework as an option. Cafe is one, I believe. Tower of Doom is one. If I click on homework, it's going to put it into asynchronous homework mode, which means there's no time limit. And instead, they just have to perform a certain number of days or a certain number of stages or whatever to clear it and be considered done. And then they get a total score, usually money or some other metric. This is how long they have to do this. So you could say this, I'm going to give them until September 17th to get this completed. And then you can come in here and change the title of it and even set how many days in the game they have to play. Now, this one is rated by games, but something like Tower of Doom is not. So this is the setting that's specific to this game type, Cafe. And then I'll assign it. I can then get this link and I can copy paste this and send it out in an email or even go to Google Classroom. And once I'm here, I go to classwork and create an assignment, and I'll call this Cafe Blooket. Give instructions if I need to how to play the game, and then attach a link. Paste that link. It will detect that link. There we go. And set the due date to be the same as the assignment itself there. Then I'll hit assign. Oh, and I may choose to make that ungraded or whatever. So as a student, I would log into Google Classroom, click on classwork, pick the assignment, follow the link to Blooket. Once I get there, I put in my nickname and I'm taken to the game. Now, I don't see any other students here. It's purely a solo thing, and I don't have to worry about seeing any other names or anything. It's just for me. So I'll go ahead and choose an empty save slot. It asks me if I want to do a tutorial, and I can just say no for now. So for this game, you have to restock food onto your plate, and to do that, you have to answer a question correctly. It puts one item of food on your plate, and then you can start serving the different people in the cafe. They each want different types of food. Once you do that, your plate's empty and you have to get more food, so you hit the space bar to restock food, answer another question. Speed is important if you're playing against other people, but in this case, you're playing by yourself and there's not really that much time limit. Keep answering questions to keep resetting the food, and even to stockpile more food. At the beginning, you'll have to answer a lot of questions to get that one plate refilled, but after you complete a day, which is about 5 to 6 customers, you're able to then upgrade your store. So you'll see we've completed a day, and we can go to upgrade the shop, and now we can add something like cereal. Later on, we can upgrade the toast or the yogurt or cereal, and you can see that it sells for $53 per sale instead of $2 when you upgrade it. So upgrades cost you money, but they earn you a lot more in the long run, and there's some strategy involved in this. The goal would be to be the kid who earned the most money in those X number of days that you've assigned them to this game. In order to do well, they have to use some strategy, but they also have to know their content. This game, as you can probably imagine, is very different if you're playing live with other students, where time and competition is a bigger factor. Okay, we're going to leave the game just to move on. Here is a dashboard for the teacher, and the teacher can see overall statistics for the game, but also per question. You won't see any here because I quit the game, but if the students complete, you'll see which problems are tough, which problems they get right more often, things like that. Let's take a look over here at the marketplace for the students. This is where they can spend the tokens that they've earned to get packs, booster packs, which contain random blooks. Here's where you see the collection of blooks that you have. And you may want to gamify your room a little bit here. You might say that, okay, if you earn a rare jester, I'm going to let you turn that into me, selling it and getting the money back. And then I'll give you a free homework pass or something like that. And that makes the student earn the blook again, or try for it again, and then get the pass again. You might set other things like, collect all of the medieval blooks or something like that. You're not limited to just what Blooket gives you here, in other words. Remember that these tokens are only available to students who log in and thus start generating tokens. Students can also take a look at their stats, and they'll see how many wins they've gotten, how many players they've defeated, all sorts of stuff. They even have a student Discord. So if you'd like to upgrade, just go to a feature that you need to have the premier version to do that and hit upgrade. There's really only 2 tiers here. There's a free and a plus. The Plus Flex is really just a different way of paying for the plus. The plus tier gives you everything you get with the free, but also you get exclusive features like the copy and duplicate sets option, which lets you copy other people's stuff and edit them. It'll also let you copy your own stuff and make edits so that you can quickly build sets easier. Also, enhanced game reports will give you better metrics, and student bonus tokens are really popular because the students earn more tokens when they play in your games. Overall, it's $2.99 a month, about $36 a year if you decide to commit and buy 1 year at a time. Or you can pay $5 a month and quit at any time. So you're giving up cost for more flexibility and freedom here. But make no bones about it, it's really just the same tier with different pay schemes. So that's a look at Blooket. And I think it's pretty awesome, and it's a nice alternative to Kahoot and some of the other quiz apps. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it useful. And if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Heck, why not support us and click that subscribe button. Click on the bell icon to receive email notifications, leave a comment or an idea for a Tech Tuesday video below, share this video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.